On a quiet summer night, with the stars twinkling above, little Sammy sat on the rooftop of his grandfather's old house, looking up at the wide, peaceful sky and listening to the gentle breeze, rustling the tree leaves. Suddenly, his eyes caught sight of a small wooden box hidden among dusty, old things. He slowly walked over, curious, opened it carefully, and inside was a shiny golden key unlike anything he had ever seen. It felt slightly heavy in his hand, and engraved on it in old, swirly writing was a sentence he could somehow read. "Place me under your pillow." Sammy laughed and said to himself, this must be one of Grandpa's old tricks or toys. But something in his heart told him to try it, just for fun. That night, he tucked the key under his pillow, pulled up his blanket, and quickly drifted off to sleep. He didn't know how much time had passed, but suddenly he felt his bed gently shaking. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in a place that was completely different from his room. He was standing in the middle of a bright, colorful world filled with music, laughter, and playful energy. Round him were moving rides, spinning swings, and floating balloons that seemed to giggle. In front of him stood a huge gate with a sign that read, "Welcome to the amusement city that never sleeps." As he walked closer, a gentle voice called his name. He turned to see a small, cheerful clown waving at him. "Hello, Sammy," said the clown. "We've been waiting for you for a long time. My name is Zozo, and I'll be your guide in this magical city." Sammy was surprised and asked, "Am I dreaming?" Zozo smiled and said, "Sort of, but this dream is different. This place only appears to those who hold the golden key. And now, it's your turn to explore." Sammy's eyes sparkled with excitement, and he asked what he should do. Zozo replied, "You must complete 5 adventures. Once you do, you can return home with something very special in your heart." The first adventure began when Sammy boarded a strange purple train that laughed every time he spoke. Sammy laughed too, finding it silly and fun. The train stopped at a station called the Flying Banana. Sammy got off and saw a puzzle written on a sign. "What makes you cry when you laugh at it?" He thought for a moment and said, "An onion." The train laughed louder and said, "Correct." On to the next stop. Soon, he arrived at a garden made entirely of candy chocolate trees, caramel ground, and a river of apple juice. But a quiet voice whispered, "Don't eat anything until you find the magical candy." Sammy wandered around, talking to marshmallows and gummy bears, but they only giggled. Then, he spotted one piece of candy that had no sugar on it. It looked different. He picked it up and said, "Maybe this one." As soon as he took a bite, the whole garden lit up with sparkling lights, and colorful fountains shot into the sky. The garden cheered. "You brought back the flavor of fun." Sammy moved on to a huge mirror palace where every mirror showed a different version of him. One was giant, another was upside down, and one was wearing silly hats. It was dizzying, but he remembered that he had to find the mirror that showed his true self. He thought to himself, "I'm the kid who likes to help others. I try new things. I don't stay upset for long." Suddenly, a new mirror appeared with a glowing heart in the center. He walked up and saw himself exactly as he really was. The mirrors disappeared, and the path opened once again. Next, Sammy found himself in a big square filled with birds, each one singing a unique melody. But one tiny bird sat on a branch, silent and sad. Sammy asked gently, "Why are you singing?" The bird replied, "I forgot my tune." Sammy sat beside it and played a soft melody on a small pink piano he found nearby. Slowly, the bird started humming, then singing, and finally burst into a beautiful song. "Thank you, Sammy," said the bird. "You helped me find my voice, finally." Sammy arrived at a huge carousel that turned slowly. Each horse carried a wish from a child somewhere in the world. Sammy rode one of the horses and began hearing the wishes. "I wish I had a new book," said one. "I wish someone would play with me," said another. Sammy listened closely, then spoke aloud. "I wish that all children's wishes could come true." The carousel stopped, and a calm, warm voice said, "Your wish was the kindest of them all. Now, you may return home with a heart full of love." Sammy closed his eyes and found himself back in his bed. The golden key was now clear like glass. Glowing gently beneath his pillow, he smiled, knowing it wasn't just a dream. From that day on, Sammy always helped those around him, smiled more, and wished the best for everyone he met. And every night, just before falling asleep, he would think quietly, maybe, just maybe, I'll go back there again someday.